Hey everybody, welcome back to the PM Doc podcast. On this episode today, we'll be talking about people who we grew up idolizing or considered some of our heroes, people that shaped us as we were growing up into the man or men we've become and are becoming still because this is a whole growing process. It doesn't stop. Um, we have Eddie here.
Hey, what's up?
We also have Dryden
Hey, what's up?
and Boyce, heroes and idols. I think growing up in Canada might be a little bit different than what it would be like growing up in the States. Obviously, our buddy here Eddie's from the States, but one thing that is true is me and him at least, grew up watching hockey, and the first person that I'll touch base on was actually a hockey player. And his name was Darcy Tucker, and personally, to me, that's my boy. That's my guy. That's someone I idolized growing up. That's somebody that I still, to this day, I remember hockey games with him. I remember conversations that he would have. Basically, the dude was just the ultimate underdog growing up, playing hockey in junior and then going into the AHL and then finally get into the NHL. Um, he was smaller in stature. He was short. I don't want to say underweight, but for what the NHL used to be back in the 90s and the early 2000s, most people were big. We're talking
He was
six
small.
one.
Yeah, he was.
He was a smaller dude, yeah.
Yeah.
Most people were about 6'1" to 6'3", 6'4" in very physical roles, and this dude, when he was young, when he was in junior, he was 5'8", 5'9".
Yeah.
Um, he was a smaller guy, and the thing that I admire so much about him when I grew up and I started watching hockey and he was on the team that I still love to this day, unfortunately. um, he I've learned to try and not in every aspect of my life, but try to take things from what he used to be as a hockey player and as a human being and kind of shape it towards what I want to be. Someone that I'm just an average human being. Nothing too crazy about me, but I try my best, and like everybody else does. I hope that you try your best at the end of the day, but there's a specific intensity about this man that to this day I could watch old videos about him or watch old videos of him playing. I can listen to him talk about games that he was in and experiences that I went through, and there's nothing like it. It will literally, it'll just get me going. It'll,
hmm
I could be half asleep in the second I hear that name, and the second I start thinking about what that means to me, I'm a fucking bull in a china shop. It's just, it's energy personified, and that's just something that I always try to be when people are around, when uh, there's group gatherings, when there's sports, when I'm playing sports. I try to be that type of guy, the average guy that just tries his best and leaves it all on the field or on on the ice. I'm not the Eddie came up recently and visited, and I'm not the best skater. I'm not the best shooter. I'm not anything crazy, but I'll fucking try.
I saw
and
that
from
firsthand.
and from a young age, it's what it's been. It's one of those things where I've always been kind of a shy person when it comes to sports. At least when I was younger, I was always I was a small kid, and growing up watching a guy like Darcy Tucker, who was again probably the smallest guy on the team, especially in the beginning stages when I watched hockey in I think 1999 2000. Like I said, the build of a hockey player back then was a big, tough, tough, muscular man kind of thing. Like we're talking about we're talking about guys that are twice my size. I'm 6 foot, 180 pounds ish, 185 pounds, and we're talking again, like I said, just big men. And he had to fight people. He had to fight people sometimes that were 6'4", 6'5". And you might be thinking to yourself, listening to this, it's like, well, it's just hockey. What's the point of that?
It's more than that.
It is more than that. Listening to his stories about when he was in junior, he was a good hockey player. I believe he's one of the only three hockey players in CHL history to win the Memorial Cup 3 years. 3 times, sorry. I think he won it 3 times in 4 years. One of the only players, I think, again, like I said, one of the only three players to ever do it.
Yeah.
Um, and he was a leader on those teams. And he was a small guy. I know I keep emphasizing that. It's just knowing hockey back in those times. It says a lot about a guy that you're literally David going against Goliaths, not one but many,
Yeah.
and it's just again, it's just just thinking about it right now. I'm like I was tired before we started. I'm full of energy because it's like that's what that idea of a human being that human being means to me. That's why I've idolized that man since I would have been 8, turning 9.
Yeah,
Mhm.
I'm
that's
now
been a while.
yeah,
Yeah.
and I grew up watching him from basically the first game I watched to his last game as a Maple Leaf. Um, and just yeah, I that's my guy essentially. Um, I can go on about stories that
Yeah.
he once jumped into a hockey bench essentially and fought a hockey team by himself because he was pissed off and he wanted to get his team sparked up.
He's a wild,
He
yeah. He was a wild.
he
He was one of the more wild guys in the NHL at the time.
Yeah,
It was real fun to watch.
he literally mid game, nothing was going on, and all of a sudden the TV pans to the Ottawa Senators bench, and then there's one guy, and there's a whole bench, and he's swinging, and he's getting punched in the mouth, and he's getting bloodied up, and and I'm just like, what a fucking lunatic!
So
Like,
That
you,
who
kind of
does that?
man.
so you,
That's
you, uh, so yeah, you idolize him because he's the very epitome, like not just in hockey but in life. He's like a living uh like a living personification of what it means to have guts and have grit and just to
hmm
not take any shit, to say like, you know what, I don't care if these guys are taller than me, I don't, for life, I don't care if shit's going to be coming at me, I'm going to go right back at you, and
Yeah.
I'm going to give it my all times two, more than what you
hmm
are, like more than you.
Yeah.
And
And
that's what Darcy Tucker stood for, and that's great.
it's just one of those things where I've always it's always meant something to me because it's a very relatable story. You know, you can hear it in any kind of sports or any kind of competition, whatever it may be. There's always going to be those individuals who, they're just naturally gifted. They're just the best. They can score the most goals. They could throw the most touchdowns. They could hit the most 3 points. They could whatever you want to call it, any kind. They could lift the most weights. It seems without barely trying. There's always going to be those types. Um, but there's also going to be those types. Those are the type of people that there's going to be those types of people that are that into a certain point of their life, and then they realize they have to change if they want to continue on to that and on that into that goal. So in his case, he was one of the best. He was one of the best scorers in junior on his team. He was one of the best passers. He was one of the fastest. But in order to really help his team, he had to develop more to that. He had
Yeah.
to develop that grit. He had to develop that passion. He had to develop that, you know what, I'm just going balls to the wall and there's nothing you can do about it. Um,
Just be a
and I,
pest. Yeah.
yeah, and to me that says a lot about an individual. He's not only relying on his strength and his ability. He developed character. He developed a winning attitude. There's a lot to go into achieving goals. If you have all the talent in the world and you have no heart and you have no dedication, you have no ability to adapt, you're not going to go far. Your talent can only take you so far. you're going to have to learn how to be persistent. You're going to have to learn how to do very uncomfortable things. You're going to have to learn to quite literally fight a guy who is 7 inches taller than you with over 100 pounds. I was going to say 200. That's a bit much.
Yeah.
I'm talking about I'm talking about a specific story about Darcy Tucker. He was 5'8" and he fought a guy who was 6'3" and 100 pounds heavier than him and won.
Yeah.
And not because he was a skilled fighter, it's just because he was willing to go out. He was willing to go up against that. They were in the middle of a practice, and they were calling something. I think it was called bull rushing, and it's basically you're trying to knock a guy out of the circle. And this guy so happened to be one of the best enforcers in the NHL, or would turn into one of the best enforcers in the NHL. His name was Donald Brashear,
Yep.
and Donald Brashear. If you know anything about hockey, especially in the early to mid 2000s and into the late 2000s, Donald Brashear was one of the best fighters there was, and he's a big guy. And Tucker took it. I think the story goes he people thought Tucker punched him in the face by accident, and then he punched him in the face a second time and blew his helmet off his head. And everybody was like, what? Apparently, Tucker was literally chin up in the air, looking up towards Donald Brashear, who was looking chin down at him,
And he socked him in the face. That's
and he
great.
punched him straight in the face. And Donald Brashear looks at him, and he's like, he's staring at him, and Darcy Tucker says, "What are you gonna do? Are you gonna fucking hug me, or are you gonna punch me?" And Brashear, who would fight anybody, like I said, if you know hockey at all, or if you don't, the whole point of Donald Brashear was to fight. He was gonna go after anybody, and he was gonna punch them in the face, and he was gonna try to get energy for his team, and he was gonna hit, and he was gonna hurt, and he was a big man. And Darcy Tucker, at the time, all 5'9" and 140 pounds, was looking up at the man, and he said, "What are you gonna do? Are you gonna hug me, or are you gonna punch me?" And Donald Brashear looked down at Darcy Tucker and laughed and said, "I'm not gonna do anything," and skated away. And I heard that story not too long ago, and it just gave me chills. And I know it sounds whatever. It sounds like, oh, it's just a bunch of guys being fucking stupid at hockey or in sports. And it's like, yeah, it could be, but at the same time, there's a specific goal, and there's a specific tone and a specific attitude that some people bring because it's needed. You're not, there's no shifts off. There's hard work and there's dedication to what we're doing, and there's nothing less that I'm going to accept. And for me, that's the guy that taught me that, watching him grow up playing hockey. And I took that and I put it into my life in a lot of ways. And I'm not saying that I'm perfect. It's not like I don't give up on things. And it's not like I call it in sometimes, because we're all human, and, that I would be perfect if that's what I always did. But
Hmm.
for the most part, I look at that, and, there's days where that's the kind of idea that I have in my mind that gets me to, I get up early in the morning, have a coffee, go to work, and then I get home and I'm tired. It's like, hey, still got to work out, still got to improve on working out. I still got to improve on that. And because of him and because of other people and the decisions that I've made, but a big part was seeing him do that, and it translates to me wanting to go downstairs and work out and continue to keep going and trying to be the best worker I can be. That way, I can help other people when they're not feeling as up to par, or don't have that much energy, if it's in sports or if it's in life.
Mm.
And it's just, and that's why that man, I've idolized him since I was a child, and those are some of the lessons that he taught me just by being a hockey player. It sounds kind of like, oh, he just plays hockey, but there's a lot to it. So
There,
that's my guy.
and so me and again, for Dryden and also for people who don't usually watch hockey, I like to use hockey that's to use that sport sort of as like a metaphor for life itself, because I think the sport is, or I think sports in general, I think are great metaphors for life. Uh,
That's
my
the ultimate drama played out in front of you,
It is, right?
live.
Yeah,
Yeah.
literally, and you get to see blood and you know. But
So
my
back, you look Friday.
yeah, yeah, you know,
Mm.
especially if you go see a minor league game. But now that's a different story.
Mm.
But I actually have two. There's two. One I think one you know already, Justin. Actually, I think yeah, you know both of them. But two again, they're both hockey players, and you know, and the reason why me and Jay are have idolized hockey players is because you know this is the sport that we've known all our life, and
Yeah.
it's our favorite sport to watch, and we think it's the best sport in the world. And like I said before, I think it's the best sport as a metaphor for life. With that being said, the first guy, this isn't really going to be a shock to you, and this might actually be a fucking shock to everyone who knows hockey and has a and knows the history of hockey. Uh, uh, first idol player that I idolized was a man by the name of Sean Avery. now, now,
Oh
now,
no.
now, wait a minute. Before anyone says anything, you guys are. I know what everyone's gonna say. You know, like, Sean Avery was an asshole. He was a pest. He was one of the worst guys in the league. Okay, I'm not denying that the guy was an asshole. He was he was a fucking absolute prick. He was a nightmare to have as a teammate. He was an absolute nightmare to play against. But hear me out. The guy had maybe not to the extent of Darcy Tucker, but the guy had guts. The guy
Yeah.
had guts, he had grit, and he had a wicked shot when he wasn't being a pest and he was actually trying to be a solid addition to his team, whether it be for New York, Detroit, LA, anywhere. Dallas even though he got kicked off of Dallas for being a fucking idiot. But you know, when his game was on, he was one of the harder players to play against. Like Darcy Tucker,
Yeah.
he had guts, he had grit. Darcy Tucker hated him. And,
Yeah. Legit.
uh,
Or for at least in hockey. Yeah. For
oh
real.
yeah, yeah, they're good guys now off the ice. I'm pretty sure I'm pretty sure they were on a podcast and they talked to each other and they were laughing about their stories they had. I'm pretty sure it was those two. Um, but yeah, Avery, he would hit, he would shoot the puck, he would score goals like Darcy Tucker. He had an ability to put the puck in the net. And
Yeah.
and Avery was also 5'10", I'm pretty sure.
Yeah. He was pretty much the same height, pretty much the same size as Darcy Tucker. They weren't big men in the traditional hockey sense, I should say.
These guys, yeah, a guy like Avery, like Darcy Tucker, who's 5'10", where the average size in the NHL is like 6'2", 6'3", something like that.
Mhm.
Like
At the time, yeah.
at the time over 6 foot. You're still pretty tall in the NHL now, even though not at the I mean not as much as not as tall as you used to be, but still fairly tall. It's still a giant man's game. But uh, you know, for someone like Avery, given his reputation, I mean, for someone to go in and just chirp guys who could beat the shit out of him, he doesn't care. He's gonna go out. He's gonna be a pest. He's gonna do what he does best, and that's what he did. When you think about how life can just be kind of an asshole to you, you know, or it's like, oh God, like I'm not uh, I can't get this job or my boss is an asshole or you know anything. You just gotta be an asshole back sometimes. It's like, you know what, fuck you. You're not getting in my head. I'm gonna get in your head and I'm gonna prove that I'm better than what you throw at me. I'm gonna overcome what you throw at me.
Yeah.
Minus all the bullshit antics that Avery did off the ice.
Well, and that's the
But
thing where it's where what you see on the ice is one thing, what you see on the ice or off the ice could be a different thing. I'm pretty sure that,
yeah,
you know,
I don't
like anybody else, you
yeah.
could be a totally nice guy when people are around and totally not when people
Yeah, like
aren't around.
like I didn't see that clip of him going that whole thing when he said sloppy seconds. I'm not gonna be like, yeah, I want to be like that. That guy's my hero.
No.
No,
No,
absolutely
exactly.
not.
Wait, you're not gonna do this? Oh man.
But yeah, mainly because Sean Avery had grit, and you know, in life you gotta have some grit in you. Which
Yeah.
brings me to my next player, who I think is going to be an even better fit. And I mentioned this before we started recording, but my favorite New York Ranger of all time, Ryan Callahan. Again,
Yeah.
small guy,
Beast.
small guy, captain of the
Mm-hmm.
Rangers for a number of seasons. He had now he I think he's a better idol to have more than Sean Avery, but
Maybe.
maybe. But the guy was the very heart and soul. Him and Lundqvist, I thought at the time, were the heart and soul of the Rangers. You have Hank, who's given it his all in the net, right?
Yeah.
Lundqvist, and then you have Callahan, who's blocking shots night in and night out. He's hitting, he's scoring goals, he's trying to get his team pumped up. The guy is so full of energy, and he just knows how to get his team going. Again, in life, you just someone like Ryan Callahan, you need it's I would love to have a friend like that, or like a teammate, someone beside me like that, or hell, I'd like to be that guy. Just like shit's not going your way, and say in a hockey game you're down by 3 goals going into the third period, like, boys, let's go. Just just one block shot from him. You block a shot, you block 2 shots in a row, then you block 3 shots in a row. Then in that same shift, you forecheck, you lay a big hit on Zdeno Chara, and then use who's like 6'9", 7 foot on skates. Then you score
Yeah.
a goal, and
Big
then
man.
that one goal, those turn of events, and that one goal could help win the hockey game. Okay, everyone's like, yeah, we can do this. Last 5 minutes, we score 5 goals, and again, I don't know if this ever happened, but you scored 2 goals, you on top of that first one, and then you tie the game. Then you win the game in overtime. It just takes that one spark. It takes a spark, and he gave that team that spark, much like Darcy Tucker.
Yep.
These guys are capable of just having that, just igniting a fire. And again, I say in life a lot. In life, you need to you need to ignite a fire within yourself. And when I looked at Avery, when I looked at Callahan, these guys, it, the I always think that I don't necessarily think strength, how strong you are, isn't how much you can punch or how much you can lift. And this isn't anything new, but it's how much you can get knocked down and how often you get back up. And
Yep.
Callahan always got back right up. He never hung his head. He always kept on playing. And you can't hang your head whenever, oh, you didn't get it. Like I said before, you got a rejection letter, you got a multiple rejection letters. You can't just sit down and feel sorry for yourself. You gotta get up. You gotta get out there. You gotta keep on hunting for a job. You gotta improve your resume. Something's not going right. Okay, like what do I got to change? And both these guys, Darcy Tucker included, we look at these players and it's just like these guys don't give up. They
No.
they always have their fire lit, and I just I just love that about that, and I carry that over to even now, and I'm like in my mid 20s. I try to have that fire lit as often as I can, whether I'm working out, whether I'm searching for a job, uh, anything. Uh, yeah, so that's why whenever me and Jay bring up hockey in this podcast, that's why it's only because that we think that it's a great metaphor for life itself. And these players, I think, that we just talked about are great idols to have, because we think that they represent just sheer amount of hard work and heart and just all around fire in their soul. So yeah, that's really yeah. There's really not much more to say about it, and for those three
No,
at least.
definitely.
Yeah. But
Definitely.
yeah. Uh,
Yeah, for me, I'm all the way on the totally other end of the sport industry area.
that's fine. You know.
See,
Yeah,
I'm all the
nothing
way
wrong
in
with that.
bodybuilding for when I was younger, right? So,
Mm.
like, do you guys know who Bradley Martin is?
Never heard of him.
No.
Damn.
Sorry.
Okay.
Sorry.
So, like, when I was first growing, like, when I was first getting into fitness and all that, obviously, like, you're gonna look up the videos, you're gonna try to figure out all these things, right?
Mhm.
So, like, just his videos that he made with, I can't remember his goddamn name. Off the top of my head, he made bro science videos with this other guy, and
Oh,
like
I
I fell in
I know.
love with bro
I
science.
know who you're talking about. He's the guy's like, do you even lift?
Yeah, okay, so that's the bro science guy, but Bradley Martin was in his video.
Oh
He's the
yeah.
massive guy. He's
Okay.
just the unit that's inside those videos. And like I've always been a small lanky dude, and Bradley Martin, like I'm sure he used juice or something, to be that big, or he just dedicated his life, whatever one happened. But like Well, he was a small, lanky dude. I was a small, lanky dude. So like just seeing him, like the way that he talks and like the way that he like presents himself of like keeping the grit and like keeping your mentals towards the goal that you want, no matter like what stature you are, is kind of like what I got originally from him. And then I kind of branched off to other fitness people from him. Like I met a guy named Troy. So like a lot of the people who like influenced me into continuing things I met all personally. I never really had, other than Ryan Reynolds, an idol
Mm.
to kind of like idolize, like famous wise. Everyone
Mhm.
is like the people I met. So like all mine is like experiences basically. So like I met this one guy named Troy while I was just starting like continuing bodybuilding and everything, just like basic workouts because I wanted to be a bodybuilder for some reason when I was a kid. Couldn't remember the exact reason why, but I wanted to be a bodybuilder at first.
Mm-hmm.
I was dedicated. So I talked to this guy and he opened up my mindset towards like different outlooks to how to grow as a person. So like you need your mental status to be like to be able to have determination and like the grit and like just to be consistent in life is like what you want from like lessons and everything that he's been teaching me when I was younger. And every time I talked to him, it was just something more positive and more like, this is what you should be doing. And this is like how life kind of sets itself up. Everything is shitty in life. Everything.
Yep.
Whether you want to build muscle, that's going to be shitty. You're going to have to go work out at least for a solid 2-3 hours a fucking day if you want to get massive. And that's shitty. You have to eat more food if you're trying to put on weight than you want to physically and mentally. And like you gotta like mentally be prepared for this. You gotta physically actually be prepared to like grow.
Mm-hmm.
And all of that, I just kind of like applied all that fitness stuff that he kind of taught me into like real life, like actual, genuine, like reality. Because like if you want to grow as an individual, you kind of have to like look on yourself and reflect the past that determined what you are now and look at the future and keep the perspective of how great you're going to become.
Mm-hmm.
So just like your muscles, right? Like they're small and like they ain't there, right? Basically, you're starting off. You're like what? Say 14% body fat and you want to be like 5% shredded wise and have like 22, more like 14 or 15-inch biceps if you're a small lanky dude. Building up's not gonna instantly give you 22s, but like to get that you're gonna have to be dedicated for a solid 3 months just to lose the body fat and just to be able to build a bit of that muscle. Like that's just 3 months of like pure dedication.
Yeah.
And if you can't do that, I don't know what to really tell those people because like that kind of sucks. If you can't like keep
What's
going
the
towards
sorry, what's the I can't remember who it was, you might know, but I think I've seen his um videos either on like Instagram or TikTok,
which
and
one?
I think they're relatively older, but it's just like everybody wants to get big, but no one wants to lift up these damn heavy weights.
Yes, yeah, I know
Yeah.
who you're talking about. I'm pretty sure
Yeah.
Ronnie Coleman or someone
Was it
said
him?
that. I think
Yeah.
it was Ronnie
Yeah.
Coleman.
Yeah, and
But
I always
like,
laugh when I hear that because it's like everybody wants to get jacked, but goddamn, do you really want to be lifting 55-pound dumbbells for like an hour every day and just continuously curling? Or do you just want to look good?
see, and if even if you want to just look good, you still have to put in all that work and all
Oh,
that
yeah.
effort.
Oh
Oh,
yeah.
Like
yeah.
there's so much work to be put into like anything you do. It's just it's astounding. Like you could do anything, you just have to do it.
Well, and that's why people like we're talking about are so important because it's like some days you don't want to. Some days you feel like shit either mentally
Yeah.
or spiritually
Yeah,
even.
but I'm kind of just an idiot, and on those days, I'm on my God mode like crazy. Like the days that I don't want to do anything, I'm like, yo, fuck me, fuck reality, fuck everything. Let's just go. Let's get this shit done. I hate it, but it's got to get done. If it's not
Mhm.
done today, it's not gonna get done tomorrow.
Exactly.
Well, and that's what I mean. That's why these people are important for that stuff, regardless of when they came into your life or what they're doing. Is if they're teaching you these lessons that you can take and use on your own, or if they have to be kind of a constant reminder.
Oh,
That's why these
definitely.
people. That's why these people, or that's why they were so important. And that's what I mean. Some days people want to be big, but some days they don't want to lift those heavy ass weights. So it's important. It's important. Like you said, like you've gotten yourself to a point where it's just like, you know what, too bad. I don't care if I'm having a bad day or I'm not as enthusiastic as I usually am, or if I don't have the energy as I usually do. If I don't do it today, it's not going to get done, meaning tomorrow I got to work twice as hard.
Yeah,
And I'd rather not do that.
that bed
And
that bed that you lie in is always it's so comfortable always in the morning, especially
Hmm.
right before you have to go to school or work. It's
Oh,
like
and it's
fuck.
never comfortable when you want to go to bed.
yeah,
God damn it.
Exactly.
never,
That
never.
seems to be the trick, right?
It's all it's the worst feeling though. It's like fuck.
Yeah.
Like I just got it's like and it's and hours go by so quickly like in 5 minutes. It's like I just went to sleep.
Yeah.
Like
Literally.
What's that?
Literally.
It's that stupid meme where it's just like you have a hard time sleeping. You look at the clock. It's 5 a.m. You have to wake up for 6. You fall asleep at 6:30. You wake up and you've never been as comfortable in your life as like 30 minutes.
yeah.
It's like of
Yeah.
course I gotta get up
Yup.
now. Literally just got as comfortable as humanly possible. Time to get up.
But, you got to do stuff. You got to do shit that you don't want to do if you want to make it,
Yeah,
and anything really. You want to be a successful
yeah.
bodybuilder, you want to you want to have a nice job, you want
You
to,
just want to be happy. You have to do so
At the
many
end of the
uncomfortable
day,
things.
yeah,
yeah,
you got to get out of the bed, get off the bed and go. Get out of the comfort
oh,
zone. Like we told me before the podcast that where we tried to have me host and it didn't work out at all. Get out of my comfort zone, Eddie. Come on.
yeah. You gotta
Literally.
get out of your comfort
Literally.
zone. I mean, how else? And I'm generalizing here, so specifically towards you. But how else are you gonna find out if you're good at something if you don't try something that you're uncomfortable with? And that's a lot. Like that's a lot of people starting out anything. Like Dryden, when you were younger and you weren't what you are now. There's probably some besides like the excitement of the possibility of what could be. If you don't take that initial step because you're uncomfortable, you're never gonna know what you can come in you can turn yourself into.
See, and that's why, like now, like way back when, I wouldn't have went into working out or anything. It was just on a whim that I kind of went on it. It was a
Mhm.
free thing, right? And like, I'm a broke bitch. I've always been one.
Yeah.
So like, it was free. I was taking the opportunity.
Yeah. Hey, sometimes you catch that break.
So like after that like free opportunity, I was like, fuck it. I'm kind of hooked. This shit's like a natural drug. It is fantastic. Like it is just amazing. Fitness. Oh my god, what? And then, yeah, it just continued.
Perfect.
I don't know. I was gonna elaborate more, but my brain was like, this is good.
Well, sometimes like it's just as simple as that. It doesn't have to be anything too crazy. You can there's plenty of times where, you know, after a good workout, it's that natural high. You feel that swell, you feel that difference in your body, you feel that
It's the
energy you have.
dopamine that hits. It's the
Oh yeah.
dopamine. The second the dopamine hits you, the dopamine's a happy drug. The second it hits you, oh my god, it's like euphoria.
Yeah. It's fantastic. Um there's one other person in that I grew up, I still love the man to this day. Um when I was a really young kid,
I think I know who
this is
I think I know who it
eh,
is. Maybe,
um
maybe, maybe.
maybe we'll see. When I was a really young kid, I was very shy. Like actually, I was saying earlier, when it came to sports, I was shy. I was afraid of, you know, um, really putting myself out there. I was also shy in general. Like I was quiet. I didn't really know how to speak too well. From a place of confidence, I should clarify actually. I wasn't too confident in what I was saying. I wasn't anything like that. and I always had a hard time, or I had a hard time kind of coming out of that shell as a kid, or even to at least stick up for myself. Maybe is more the proper context for this next individual, or this next individual.
Hmm.
Um, uh, Not to say I was always bullied or anything like that, but when you're young and when you're kids talk shit. Kids get into fights over nothing. Kids say dumb things to try and look funny or look cool. Or some kids will throw other kids under the bus to try and look cool.
Yeah,
And
I've
I was never.
I've seen that happen. Like,
Oh yeah,
kids throwing other kids under the bus. I'll tell you a story in a bit
Man,
after.
snitches get stitches.
yeah.
I'll tell you a fucked up story. Not that fucked up of a story, but
No, well, and that's a thing. At a young age, without like the proper context of what actual life is, it's just all for fun. You're trying to figure yourself out. You want people to like you. You want people to think you're funny. You want people to think you're cool. So you're gonna do specific thing. Like it's very. I don't know if it's very rare. Maybe I'm incorrect in saying this, but it's you don't hear about it as much as adults um in the real world, like bullying people like children do. Children don't know any better. Children don't know what the repercussions of it all is until they're punished. Where adults, if you're bullied, like legitimately bullying somebody, then you're just a fucking loser because
yeah.
what are you doing? Like, we all have our own shit to deal with. If you're in the workforce, you have a job and bills to pay. If you have a partner and stuff like that, you have like what are you bullying about? Shut up and go home. Like, but
Yeah.
as I go on, um, this man taught me how to talk shit, and he taught me how to stand up for myself physically at a young age.
I think I know who it is.
Um,
I think I know who
as
it
well
is.
as Darcy Tucker, as a child, I probably threw a few fists with the help of being taught how to from a hockey player.
Hmm.
But I was also helped and taught by a wrestler by the name of Stone Cold Steve Austin.
I knew it.
And
Yeah.
Feeling he was going to come in here, but I didn't know if it was this one or one later.
nah, this is my boy. Like, we're talking about the Texas Rattlesnake. We're talking about Stone Cold Steve Austin, and
The man's a living, breathing legend. Like,
he's literally and for people that don't understand why the importance of this man is like he's to me growing up. I was a big wrestling fan. Wrestling was as if people don't remember this, or if people aren't old enough to remember this, or if people just weren't paying attention, wrestling was as big as every sport today. Wrestling was gigantic. Wrestling was the number one bought merchandised product in the world for 3 years running. Wrestling was on TV. Wrestling was on the radio in some form or fashion. Wrestling was in movies in some form or fashion.
the Attitude Era, you know.
The Attitude Era was everywhere. WCW, NWO, Degeneration X, The Rock, Stone Cold, Hulk Hogan, Kevin, they were everywhere. They
Yeah.
were they were as big as South Park was in its prime. Big. And South Park was on TV at least is and was one of the biggest most popular television programs ever. And in wrestling, the very biggest star was Stone Cold Steve Austin, and by a country mile. He was a bald headed Texan with a foul mouth who drank beer, who flipped people off, who beat people up, who told his boss to go fuck himself because his boss was treating him like shit. And as a child, I didn't really understand what that meant because I'm at the ages of 6, 7, 8, 9, and then throughout the rest of my life watching him wrestle. I didn't know what that meant. I just thought this guy was cool because he was giving middle fingers and he was just throwing beer everywhere, pounding beer like crazy. But the key, and I can go on about all that stuff, but the reason for the importance in my life with Stone Cold was the fact that he knew how to verbally stand up for himself first, because most of the time you build up to a match, you don't throw yourself into a match, and then there's a whole fucking science behind that. But basically, you sell the match with what you say, and people say, yeah, wrestling's scripted, wrestling's fake. Well, it could be scripted outcomes, sure, but back in the Attitude Era, like Eddie said, back when it was as big as it was, wrestlers didn't really have scripts. Like, they didn't have written words for them. You were to go out there and speak and sell the story. And what you got on screen was from that man's heart and his mouth. And as foul mouthed as he was, it helped me learn how to stick up for myself if people were being rude or people were being mean or bullying, or, like I mentioned before, explaining who this person was. He helped me come out of that shell to the point where if someone were trying to throw me under the bus and it really made me feel uncomfortable, it really made me scared or anything like that, I would think of him and what he would do. And sure, you might think maybe it's not the best thing for a child to be seeing a guy flipping people off and drinking beer and all that stuff. And you're probably right to some extent. But I think it's very important for kids to learn how to stick up for themselves verbally. Probably in a polite way is probably the more appropriate way. But for me, I'd prefer the way I did it because it made me feel good. It gave me a sense of power. And to a child that struggles with confidence and to a child that struggles with confidence in himself verbally, physically, mentally, all that stuff, that's how I expressed it when I got myself into situations. And even to this day, I still draw from that. I still when I'm pissed off and when someone says something stupid or smart, in my mind I might say and do a lot more than I will physically. And for like, I'm not like, if someone says something smart, my first instinct is to not take a steel chair, smash them over the head, drink a beer, and flip them off. That's not my. That's not what I do.
I'm surprised
That's not your.
I'm surprised you haven't done that already, Jay.
Well, I've
I'm
flipped a lot
surprised
of
that's
people.
not his first thought. That's mine.
Oh, it's my first thought, but it's not my first action.
No,
It's
you
at
have.
least my
No, there
second one.
was that one time I was driving him over the bridge in Sudbury, and there was a convoy of trucker protesters, and Jay's flipping everyone off as, "Fuck you,
Yeah.
fuck you."
and mostly because they were in the way of us getting to
To the
the
lake, yeah.
lake.
God
It was very
damn.
inconvenient, and that's why I was annoyed. I was like, this is such a minor inconvenience that if I didn't want to flip these people off, I wouldn't have thought about it 10 minutes past that.
Yeah.
But since I was minorly inconvened, I thought it was appropriate to flip everybody off and say fuck you as we went by. Sometimes I'm like that. Thank you, Stone Cold. But yeah, I just and people are gonna draw whatever they need from wherever they need to learn how to come out of that shell, to learn how to stick up for themselves, to learn how to, when the time comes, know when to say, fuck you, here's a middle finger, I'm out, I'm done.
Yeah.
And it's, again, it could be, people could twist that to whatever they want, how inappropriate or immature or whatever. And I'm not going to argue with you. If you think that's immature, think it's immature. I don't care. It's what got me to this point in my life where I'm comfortable enough to stick up for myself without having to do that. That's the whole point of this hero of mine. I wasn't sure if it was idol hero, but hero of mine, because you can't start off by being like, you know what I mean? There's a lot that goes into being adjusted into becoming a well-rounded adult, and for the most part, that's still something I'm learning. As much as I am not a young 20-year-old anymore, I'm in my 30s now. There's still things that I'm learning because that's life. You learn at your own pace. You go through things and you try to find out who you are as a person. And again, as much as I'd love to throw middle finger up in the air and be like "fuck you" and smash a beer have a good time with the boys, and tell my boss to go fuck himself when he's being a prick, because everybody has been in a position where they wish they could just punch their boss in the face because they're being ignorant, they're being disrespectful, they're being whatever under the sun that will piss you off. Everybody, and that's as I've gotten older, that's why I understood why he was such a important character to a lot of people.
Yeah.
How they wrote that storyline and everything like that was very important to people because everybody can relate to that. Everybody could relate to your boss being
A prick.
a prick, being a tyrant, being whatever, and then everybody can relate to people bullying. Everybody could relate to bullying. Everybody could relate to being an outcast of sorts. Everybody could, at some point, think people are against me just because of the way I am, even. And there might not be anything that's really pronounced in what you are as a human. It's just sometimes you feel that you feel like the world's against you. And what's one of the best ways to get over that or to get through it is to say fuck you, throw a middle finger up, and drink a beer. And as I've gotten older, that's why I understood why that's so important. But as a child, the reason why he was so important to me is, like I've said a couple times now, he taught me how to speak. He taught me how to speak quickly. And if I had to get into a fight, I wasn't some kid flailing around because I didn't know how to. I'd just think to him or Darcy Tucker, and I'd be able to defend myself.
Yeah.
So that's my boy, and I'm sticking to it, as much as that might be a controversial thing for a child to pay attention to.
I mean,
I don't think so.
It's up in the air. It's an opinion of whatever. I just think, yeah, for me that was my guy. I still have a shirt of his. I the his music, his entrance music will, if I hear that glass shatter, no matter where I am or no matter what I'm doing, I will smile right away. And I don't drink. I haven't drank in a long time for personal reasons.
it
But the
makes me
first thing,
makes me sad that you don't anymore.
hey man, that's life.
Okay, I'm still an alcoholic, low key. What?
There you go.
See our
The
previous episode on alcohol abuse. Anyway,
Yeah.
so
um, the first thing that comes to mind is I smile and I'm like, God damn it, I want to smash two beer together and just it's just that's what I think. If anybody's a Stone Cold Steve Austin fan growing up currently, or if anybody understands the character and what he meant for millions, literally millions of people around the world, that's the first thing that comes to my mind the second I hear that name, the second I hear a glass shatter, or even literally just seeing a bottle of beer, or sorry, not a bottle, a can of beer. The second I see a can of beer, the first thing that pops into my head is Stone Cold Steve Austin,
yep.
because that's it's like peanut butter and jelly. They just go so well together. It's like anything like that. You think of beer, you think of Steve Austin, or you think of Steve Austin, you think of beer, and he's somebody that's left such a mark on my life, and even to this day, I still have some of that attitude about me from that man, um, where I have my days where I'm in my head and I'm a little bit more frustrated with how things are going in certain aspects, and
Yep.
I will literally think middle finger, two cans of beer, and oh hell yeah.
All the people that we've talked about so far, the people that we've idolized, Dryden, Jay, me, myself, they embody guts, grit, determination, and just, I don't give a fuck. I'm not giving up. That's basically, you know, you know, those words that I just described is basically why we idolize these people, is because, we like to, we want to make ourselves better. And when we look at these people, it's like, you know what, that guy, I don't know what that guy has done, but like whatever he's done, I want to do exactly. I want to be as tough. I want to be as carefree and just love life as much as these people do, or
No.
work hard as these people do. And I think that's why we idolize these people, is because above all, we want to be better ourselves. But it also, you need to take action. You can't just sit there and be like, oh man, like he's my idol, and then you just down a bunch of Doritos sitting in the bed playing Halo all day. You know, it's like
Mhm.
if you're not doing anything, what's the point of having an idol like Stone Cold or Darcy Tucker or or anyone if you're not gonna better yourself? You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Of course, there are other idols in other areas of life, not just suited for, working hard or you know, there are idols for there are idols for pretty much every other aspect of life, whether it be for beauty, whether it be for business,
Music,
music, business,
yeah.
um,
Fashion,
fashion.
design. Well, that's like you're saying. There's for specific things, different people they'll fit that model. But like you're saying, like everybody will have specific people that they look up to or they idolize, or that's their hero, that's their person, because it's helped them in whatever kind of way to get that person from where they are to where they were to where they are now, or where they're going to be eventually.
Now let me ask
Doesn't
you,
necessarily mean they have to kick ass, drink beer, play hockey, lift weights.
yeah,
It could be a
whatever,
multitude of things.
whatever, whoever gets you out of your comfort zone that you idolize, that's a good idol, you know.
Hmm.
Now let me throw a curveball at the both of you. Who do you think isn't worth idolizing?
Oh shit,
Oh my god.
that's a good question.
So for Sean Avery might be in there as well, but
He's a polarizing character. I'll give him
it's
that.
50-50. I will say it's
Yeah,
50-50.
exactly.
On the ice, yeah. Off the ice, maybe not so much.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'd like to hear you guys' opinion. I have some opinions, but I want to hear what you guys think.
They
Anyone?
need to think. Oh my
Yeah.
god.
Yeah.
Like I have a list of people who aren't good people, but
Well,
like,
people, or rather, yeah, people. You think that people like really idolize this guy or girl, like for real? Like how? You know what I mean? It's like that question. It's like, how do people? Why do people idolize
see,
this group?
that's like most female rappers nowadays. Just in like my own opinion, like all they're doing is talking about their wet ass pussy. Come on, what the what? Okay, so that one, yeah, no, I don't get that area. See, no, see, like some people I can like understand, like what's his name, Eminem. I can understand why you'd idolize him.
That's another one
Tupac,
I've
why you'd
always.
understand him.
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
50 Cent, understandable. Snoop Dogg, understand. Like all of them, understandable. Even like a few female artists, like freaking Hillary Duff back in the day. Girls used to idolize her. She used to be cool or whatever.
I had a crush on her when I was younger, when I was a kid.
Well,
But
who didn't?
oh yeah.
Like Selena Gomez as a kid too, like she was good too, but like what's up with these girls nowadays? Like just artist wise. Some of them
Just
are just
clip that,
what the
clip
hell
that,
are
and
you
put it
doing?
everywhere.
uh,
Honestly, I
That's
don't
my
know, man.
rant right there.
There you go.
Cardi B, I
Okay,
don't.
well then,
Okay, I don't think Cardi B is a great idol simply
No, that's
because
what I mean. Like Cardi B, Nicki Minaj,
no, not really. I just
Kim K in
Taka
some areas, some areas.
Takashi 69.
Okay, fuck that guy. What the hell?
I don't like.
Like
I just don't like mumble rappers. I don't know what it is.
there is some mumble rappers that are like they're awesome people. Shit, like they can't rap. Okay, they can't. But like
Yeah,
they're
yeah.
awesome guys. They're sweet, awesome dudes.
Okay.
I can give them that much.
Or anyone who's like about quote unquote thug culture or thug life. It's like, dude,
Y-
like,
Yo, back up, okay?
it's like you're an
I'm
ass.
thugging.
It's like you're basically saying it's okay to be an asshole, but like, well, not like in the case of like Stone Cold, like yeah, but like, throw middle fingers, but like it's okay to just be a prick to anyone because you're a thug. I hate that people who idolize that. It's just
No, you
stupid.
can't. No, I agree on that one. Don't. I 100% agree on that. Like, be a dick, okay? But be an in like an honest dick. You know? Be an asshole, but like be an honest asshole. If you don't like something, sure, vocalize it, say your opinion, but like don't punch an old lady in the face because she fucking looked at you funny. You know?
Jay, what about you? You got it.
That's the thing, like, because everything's subjective in that sense. That's why, like, when I mention Darcy Tucker or Stone Cold, people could look at and be like, "What the fuck are you talking about?" For a multitude of reasons. Um, it's just hockey and it's just wrestling. B, there's no like people will look at somebody throwing a middle finger in the air and drinking beer and like all that kind of stuff and be like, that's very immature, or that's like the stupid phrase or whatever, toxic masculinity.
Yeah,
Hey, leave my masculinity out of this, okay?
I never really was.
Well,
I never
It's
really was.
intoxicating.
I never really was a fan of that phrase either.
no,
Yeah.
but that's what I mean. Like it's all subjective. Like if I showed people old videos of Darcy Tucker and he's skating around doing what he does, people will be like, people could look at me and be like, "You're kind of insane." Then I'll be like, "Yeah, kind of."
Yeah.
That's why like it is subjective to a certain degree because, like you said, Cardi B. Well, some girls like dancing and making money by dancing, and that
See,
could be
like,
their hero.
I'm
Yeah.
okay with that. I'm okay. You can have your
That's
own
what I
hero
mean.
and all, but like, I just don't understand her.
Well, and that's the thing where it's like it's all about perspective. But I guess if you're looking for a type of person, not someone specific, but a type of person that shouldn't be idolized or looked at as a hero, um, I don't like someone that's like if like, and I'll bring it to sports because that's basic sports, hockey, work, and um, that's about it. Is my life outside of friendships and relationships.
I mean, I
So
got
if I
gaming.
well, yeah, yeah, there you go. For me, someone that if you looked up to this person as a hero and then seen what they did would be someone like a Mark McGuire or a Barry Bonds, two of the best baseball players of all time until you see that there's an asterisk beside anything they've ever done because they were caught doing steroids in sports that don't allow steroids. So those are cheaters, they're disingenuous, they're liars. Like, you know what I mean? Like before you knew what they did, it's probably one thing to be like, yeah, I idolize this guy. This is the best home run hitter of all time, or one of the best home run hitters of all time. And then you realize he's only that good because he took steroids. So, someone like that's probably, again, I can understand at the beginning, but, someone that's disingenuous, someone that's a cheater, someone that's a liar, it's probably not the best to idolize because it's not really setting any kind of example for you in your life unless unless your idea is to do whatever it takes, no matter what it takes to get in
See,
life, to head
like,
in ahead of life.
that's also not a bad idea, though. Do whatever it takes. I mean, to an extent. To an extent.
But that's what I'm saying. Like if you're in sports and you want to be the best, bust your fucking ass off as hard as you can. Or if you
Yeah.
want to be the best yoga instructor, bust your ass off to learn
Hey,
as
I
much as
did
you can.
yoga today.
There you go. If you want to be the best comedian, get the most perspective in life and learn how to tell jokes.
Don't make fun of someone's wife.
Don't steal jokes,
Don't steal jokes.
right? If you don't say you're the best yoga instructor in the world and not even know what the fucking downward dog is.
Yeah.
You know what
Oh,
I'm
I know
saying?
that one.
How do you not
I
know?
bet you do.
Yeah.
But
Oh,
that's
damn, I do. Mm.
Shut
but
up.
that's what I'm saying. Like there's specific things about a person that you could see are good qualities, but then you have to look at the content of their character and it's just like what did they do to get to where they are? Were they an asshole? Did they treat people like shit? Did they step on people just to get to where they needed to be? And again, wrestling is different because, you know,
Oh yeah.
in wrestling you're gonna use steel chairs and you're gonna drink beer in the middle of the ring and it's like, yeah, sure, but you're not like that's it's different. It's not if I found out Darcy Tucker was taking steroids and was an asshole to everybody, I'd first of all I'd be heartbroken because to me I wouldn't. Those are two things that I'm not appreciative. I don't like that. luckily, everything that I've ever heard from hockey players and fans that have ever met him or ever played hockey with him, worked out with him, anything like that, apparently he's legitimately a stand-up, kind human being. So I'm very happy about that. And same thing with Stone Cold. He was always one of the most respected wrestlers in any locker room that he went into. Apparently, he always helped the younger people out when they were coming up. Apparently, like there was certain things that you'd probably look at it and be like, "Oh, it's probably not good in the context of wrestling." Um, but he was also the biggest star, so you got to protect your big stars. So, and that's talking inside wrestling. But
Yeah.
so the long answer for a short question. You probably people that you shouldn't idolize are people that lie, people that do things that you don't agree with to get to where they need to go or need to be, I guess.
Yeah.
That's probably, the easiest answer.
First thing that comes to mind when I think of what you just said is a guy called Rice Gum on YouTube. I don't know if you guys have heard of him or remember him.
Name
No.
oddly sounds familiar.
He's a guy who just causes a lot of drama, lies a lot.
Mhm.
Yeah, there's a bunch of fucking shitty ass YouTubers.
Drama and all that reminded me of freaking Shane Dawson.
Shane Dawson, one fucking person that I think you should never idolize.
Jeffree Star.
I wasn't gonna say that, but him. Or I don't really know much about Jeffree Star, but
Dude, all the bad shit Jeffree Star has done and Shane, like, they're probably okay people.
I don't know anything about them, but the person I was gonna say Dryden was DJ Killer Keemstar. Fucking.
Oh my god, I haven't heard that name in years.
The drama alert guy. Absolute prick, and I think there's something wrong with you if you idolize that fucking dumb. He's a bum. Like he's an absolute bum. Causes a bunch of. He's a bum. He dropped the N word. Granted, that was a long time ago, but he said it. But like Alex is a fucking. He said it so hard,
What
and
do you
it's.
say?
Everyone type Alex is a stupid in the chat. Like.
Wow.
Grant,
I think I've seen that video.
yeah,
Actually,
that's
could be
that
real.
guy. He's that same guy on Drama Alert.
Oh,
And even now he's best known for drama, like putting drama in the spotlight, even if it has to do with a YouTuber's personal life or anyone else's personal life. He wants to milk that because he wants the attention. So it's like you should not idolize someone like that, someone who's a scummy piece of shit. He's a bum. He's a bum. Yeah, there's nothing more to say other than don't idolize a bum.
yeah.
Don't idolize someone who seeks attention. Idolize someone who gets the attention for positivity, not for fucking issues.
Idolize someone who puts out positive vibes and is all about the grind and all about
Literally.
betterment, self betterment. I think that's the best people you should idolize. You know what I mean?
100% like freaking David Goggins, like Jordan, Justin knows this. Freaking Peterson.
Yeah, Jordan Peterson. Yeah. Justin goes on and on about how much he loves Jordan Peterson whenever me and him
Oh,
are
I know.
whenever me and him are at an Xbox party. And I've been listening to him more. I've been listening to Jocko Willink, who I idolize a little bit more and more. Yeah, Jordan's a good guy. He has a lot of good opinions.
I agree.
Definitely. Oh yeah. Well, I've heard tons of his opinions, Justin, just from you.
Yes, exactly. But yeah. So, with all of that being said, if anybody that is listening has anybody that they idolize or consider as a hero, and again, they don't have to be famous, they don't have to be anything celebrity wise, they don't have to be, it could be your parents, it could be your brothers, it could be your sisters, it could be your friends, it could be
It could literally be your dog.
it could be your dog. If you fucking you see that dog fetch that ball and you idolize that grit and determination that dog shows, so be it. But if that's the case, if you're listening and you have those types of people in your life, let us know. We would love to know who that person is for you. Um, if you want, let us know in the comments section in this video, or by contacting us. Send us a message on some of our various platforms that we frequent. Dryden, let them know where they can find you if they want to get a hold of you.
Over on my Instagram, it would be DRYDENXOUIMET. You literally will find my Twitch that I don't often do at the moment just because of how much work I have. But you'll see my Instagram and you'll see the posts that I'm making more recently about different workouts and everything that you guys should try out.
There we go. Eddie, how about you?
You can find me at my main YouTube channel, youtube.com/mask animations, capital MASK, capital ANIMATIONS. I'm surprised I got that right on the first try.
Good job.
I every now and then I post short animations that I make, machinima videos that I edit and upload, just creative short films. I have a second YouTube channel, on YouTube, that all our links will be in the description where you can find us. YouTube channel name is Lord Ed the Mighty. I can post the URL down in the description below. It's more like that is just I just post anything there really, gaming videos, live stream highlights, anything really, anything that I just feel like dumping onto that channel. And speaking of live stream, you can catch me on my Twitch, twitch.tv/mask, MASK961, where I stream every now and then with the boys, playing hockey, playing shooting games, getting pissed, getting riled, getting fucking, yeah, over there. Jay knows.
There you go.
And
I'm
yeah,
usually with them.
yeah.
True.
Where can they find you, Jay? Did you already say? I don't remember.
You guys can find me on my Instagram at KingKitty84. And same thing with my Snapchat. Same thing.
There you go. All right,
Nice.
There we
boys.
go, guys. All right. You guys have a good day or good night or whenever you're listening to this. Have whatever the hell you're having. We'll be back shortly with another episode for you guys soon.
All right.
See you guys.